In this video, you're going to learn what Bruce Lee called the elusive lead. This is how to use the Jeet Kune Do stance, the Jeet Kune Do guard, and the Jeet Kune Do footwork in order to fire off the lead hand strikes without any telegraph. I'm going to give you a drill for developing your footwork as well as a drill for developing that non-telegraphic movement. I'm also going to give you two of my favorite lead hand strikes. One that works great against somebody in a matching lead as yourself, and one that works great against unmatched leads, what's often referred to as an open stance. For a little context, the gym I run, Fighting Fit Kickboxing and Jiu-Jitsu, specializes in Muay Thai, kickboxing, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I teach Jeet Kune Do only privately and in semi-private lessons. I still spar very actively with the Muay Thai students, and a lot of them have commented on how unique and unorthodox my sparring style is. And so I decided to run a 6-week introductory series on Jeet Kune Do to share with them some of the unique tricks and techniques and style that I use, so they can maybe blend it into some of their Muay Thai and maybe even be interested in learning Jeet Kune Do. I also spar with the guys at the end so they can see this style in action. So this is class number 1 on Bruce Lee's elusive lead. Enjoy. So there's what's called the orthodox stance, which is left foot in front. It's orthodox because it's the way most people do it. Then there's southpaw, which for most people, if they're right-handed, puts your strong side in front. Now Bruce Lee, the art Jeet Kune Do means the way of the intercepting fist. Bruce Lee liked to have that strong side forward so that he could shut people down with that front hand. We're going to go strong side forward. I want to put everyone right foot in front. Now I know, Chan, you are southpaw. I'll still have you. Well, I'll leave it up to you, but one of the reasons why I wanted to force you into the opposite stance to what you're used to is because there are a lot of tricks that I use based on, can I steal you real quick? There are a lot of tricks that I use based on this unmatched lead, what's often called an open stance. And so I want to give you some of those tricks, and then later I'm going to show you ways, give me your fighting stance, I'm going to show you easy ways to transition into that opposite lead. So even if this doesn't become your dominant lead, like your preferred lead, it's really awesome to have these ways to be able to switch leads on a person to land certain techniques. So I'm gonna make you guys all go southpaw if that's okay. If I'm in this kind of boxed stance, or Thai stance, this is designed very much for a more plodding forward, a heavy forward energy, whereas a Jeet Kune Do stance, we're going to be a little bit longer. You don't have to be as long as me. And in Jeet Kune Do, it's really adaptable to you. So you'll have Jeet Kune Do people that like to fight more out of a Thai stance. So there's no rules in Jeet Kune Do, but generally people in Jeet Kune Do have, I think of the art as being very springy. There's a lot of this springing back and forth. So a longer stance gives you that more in and out mobility, makes it easier to cut angles. You'll also notice the guard is often different. So again, there's no rules. I always start everybody with a high guard, because if you aren't used to seeing punches come at you and kicks come at you, then high guard will protect you from a lot of shots you don't see coming. However, usually in Jeet Kune Do you'll see a lower guard, at least with the front hand. Generally it was the backhand stayed up high just in case. That was your main defense if you couldn't get your head out of the way, and the front hand would go low. And the reason for that is it's harder to track, and usually there's a state of movement. It's always moving and threatening like this. And part of that is that it's hard to track. You can fire shots from really weird angles, really odd angles. And then also, when your hands are low, your center of gravity is low. You'll notice whenever you do head work, head movement, a lot of times there's a desire to want to drop your hands. It becomes so much easier when your hands are low. The same with footwork, it becomes so much easier when the hands are low. And you can almost use your arms as like balancing. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to shadow box. I want you to right foot forward, longer stance, and I want you to play with your footwork, okay? I want you to play with your footwork. You can keep your hands up right now, but I want you to just move. You can throw stuff, but don't get so caught up in throwing techniques that we're not focused on footwork. So if you land something, take an angle, okay? Land something, take an angle. All right, guys, grab a boxing glove, find a spot on the floor, put it down, and that's your opponent. And I want you to move around. Land your shots, move around that glove. Land your shots, move around that glove. Okay, ready? We're gonna go for 1 minute and I'm gonna add something to it. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, guys, so there's something referred to as the rule of movement. And the idea is that there are 3 things that can be moving. 1 is my footwork can be moving. 2 is my head can be moving, which is really my knees and my shoulders. And 3 is my hands can be moving. Generally, if my hands are moving, this hand stays up by my head, but it can move around my head. And this one, I said, explores the space, okay? So it's like a snake's tongue darting in and out. So I want you to keep the footwork. Now, if you can keep one thing moving at all times, that's awesome. If you can get 2 moving at all times, even better. So I want you to keep footwork moving, but now I want you to just play with head movement, okay? So you can keep the hands up, but I want you to keep that head. It's just small weaves, small bobs, just keeping that head a moving target. Again, that doesn't actually mean your head. You're not doing this. It means shoulders bouncing and the knees bending. Cool, all right. So 1 minute footwork and head movement. Nice. Okay, now let's switch it to footwork and hand movement, okay? So this hand is moving up and down, side to side. The other hand can be moving around your face. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're going to play with what's called a lead straight punch. It's basically, it's a jab, but it's meant to be very hard, a very solid jab. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my lead hand low. Bruce Lee described Jeet Kune Do as the art of fencing without a sword. He drew a lot from fencing. And so, if you imagine I had a foil in this hand, a fencer's foil, my finger or the sword should be pointed right at my opponent, okay? If my hands are up, then it's pointed up there. I won't be able to generate the same power. The power for this straight punch travels on sort of an upward line. It's not like an uppercut, but it travels on this diagonal upward line. And my fist is going to be vertical on this, okay? If you imagine like you're pushing a car, your car breaks down, you don't go up to it like this because your arms are gonna go in like that. There's none supporting. You get your elbows in like this, okay? So you want your elbows behind it. So right here, my hand, if I could point my finger, it would be pointed right at his glove. Then I'm going to drive it straight forward. And actually we'll start there before we add the footwork in. So it's right here and you drive up. I actually slightly turn my arm in. I invert it a little bit. So it's not even exactly vertical. It's slightly in, so my elbow is really driving in. You can generate a lot of power. And in fact, you'll notice when we hold jabs, we hold this hand. But this one has maybe not as powerful as a cross, but it does have enough power that if you hit the front arm with this, people will be hitting themselves in the head. So you have to catch it with the rear hand, the same hand that we hold to catch the cross. So right here, I'm going to drive like this. I had one student under me. He's actually an instructor now. He runs a gym up in Dallas. So if you guys ever go to Dallas, let me know. I'll send you to his gym. But he said, oh, it's kind of like you're pulling back a bow and arrow. I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to think of it. I want my shoulders to line up, okay? Not just here. I want to line my shoulders up. Right now, I don't care what you do with this back hand because I want you to focus on that rotation. So if this is what you do, that's fine. Obviously, if I can go there, even better. If I can keep my shoulder up to protect my chin, even better. But start in range, and I just want you to, boom, do like 3, and then your partner does 3. All right, guys, get with your partner. Let's do it. Now I want you to add the footwork to it. So the footwork on this is I'm going to lift my front leg off the ground, and then I'm going to push off my back leg like that. So it's done very quickly, like that. Think of, again, a fencer's lunge. But a lot of times when people try and go fast before they figured it out, they'll jump like this. So until you feel like you have it, think of it in two parts. Lift the front leg and then drive off. So you're there, boom, there. All right, guys, 3, 2, 1, go. So now what I'm going to do is Garrett's going to be moving with me. I'm going to keep my hand on my chest like this, and then I'm going to flash it, and he's going to fire that lead straight the moment I move. Whoop, boom, good. Whoop, boom, yes. So we're moving around. See how his hand is just ready? If he had it up here, he'd have to drop it first to do this, or he wouldn't have any power. Now I'm also not doing this. As the feeder, I'm not doing this. I'm not going, okay? Because this is a reaction drill. I just flash the card, he fires, okay? The other thing I'm not doing is this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. He could close his eyes and predict when I'm gonna go. So you move around and then, whop, boom, good, okay? So let's flash each other. So one side's going, I'll tell you when to switch. Time, very nice, guys. All right, Garrett, man, put you over there. So the lead straight punch works great when you are in matching leads. And we do have southpaws in the gym, so whenever you're against a fellow southpaw, this is a great time to use this. With that said, since most people are orthodox, I've taken the time for myself to get better at it in orthodox. Go ahead and go orthodox. I want to show you the reason why. So if he's got his guard up, if you imagine there's almost like this little triangle, like to make it real obvious, this is sort of like a guard. It's like this triangle, right? The weakest part of that triangle is right through the middle. So when we're right here, my jab tends to get through a lot easier than my cross because my cross kind of runs into this hand. That's why when you're in unmatched leads or an open stance, you'll see a lot of fighters, they paw with the front hand because this front hand's hard to get through. So a lot of times it becomes a battle of trying to sneak the cross through. So when you're in matching leads, this jab is going to make it through easier. So why not make it a really solid jab? In other words, I can drive it up to get more, generate more power, and go ahead and just bring your guard in, just like normal guard, and go ahead and turn your body just a little bit, just like if we were squaring off. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll angle off like this, okay, to get right into that guard. Boom, like that. Get right into that guard. So I'll have that little, the other thing is because it has an upward motion, it tends to also sneak under the guard more. See, if I throw a jab right here, I still get caught on his gloves. If I come up, I can sneak almost underneath his guard right here. The last piece of why this lead straight can sneak through so well, I'm gonna grab a stick. If I have the stick like this and I go towards him, it's very easy for him to see it. His depth perception isn't messed with. But if I hold it straight and go like this, it's a lot harder to see. And that's what happens here. If I throw a jab, a lot of times, and if you're being real strict, you won't do this, but a lot of times when I throw a jab, my elbow is gonna flare out like this. Okay, it makes it easier for him to see it coming. But if I go vertical, whoa, it's a lot harder depth perception-wise to see that. So, play with it. Now let's talk about, so what happens, go orthodox. This is what you're going to be dealing with a lot, is usually, if you're southpaw, the other person's orthodox, this hand's in my way. If I try that lead straight, I'm just going to run into his hand. So we need to get around this arm. To do that, we need to turn our arm into a hook. Whether we hook this way or we hook this way, this is called an uppercut, but it's essentially just a hook that travels vertical. So what I'm going to do now, go ahead and just kind of put your guard out there. So, good. So my hand is low, so I don't have to load it because it's already right here. I'm going to do that same motion, but I'm going to fire an uppercut. Whoa, like that. All right, so I'm here, and I go, whoa, uppercut. Okay, so let's do that with each other. I want you to take the front hand. You're going to hold it down like this. Yeah, and I'm going to, oh, sorry, go southpaw. So now we'll go, yeah, right to right. So He's gonna hold that there right about chin level. My hand is down. If I do any of this, that telegraphs it. It's gotta go straight to the target. We'll start in range just like we did on the other one. And I want you to just pop the hip. Try and fire it off the hip. The way my instructor says is imagine like if your arm were broken and you wanna punch the guy, but you can't use your arm because your arm's broken or your shoulder's broken. So you have to pop your hip up. Pop your hip up. So I'm here, I pop my hip, pop my hip, pop my hip, okay? All right, so do 3 and 3 in range, and then we'll do it from out of range, and then we'll flash it. So now you're out of range. Again, lead hand is low, so that way there's no telegraph. If you're here, that's gonna telegraph it. It's here, whop, whop, yeah, whop, there. All right. From out of range. Ready, go. So now I'm going to keep my front hand against my chest. We're moving. The moment that I flash it, oh, yes. The reason why these are so helpful is if you do any sort of like this, any sort of load up, it's gonna feel like it takes you a day and a half to get there. And if I notice that, do it wrong, I want you to load up when I flash. Good, do it again. What I'll start doing is this. I'll move my arm out of the way, or I'll go like this. I'll go one alligator. I guess I should go one Bruce Lee. One Bruce Lee. So that way, so now I want you to do it just regular. One Bruce Lee, yeah. 2 Bruce Lees. 3 Bruce Lees, yes, good. So, see, that'll get you punching really fast. All right, guys, you messing with my camera? All right, guys, ready? Okay, we got one more drill and then we'll finish with some sparring. So now we put those together. So my hands are here. If I flash that one, lead straight. Flash that one, uppercut. Yes. What this does is it allows him to learn to fire. How Jeet Kune Do of you through what I didn't expect. Good. He learns how to fire from one neutral position. If every time so this is the problem. If my hand is up here and I want to throw an uppercut, he can tell because I dropped my body. I want to throw a hook, I have to load my body up. Okay? If my hand's here, uppercut, hook, lead straight. It can all come from the same position. So all of a sudden, now people can't read your punches. They don't know which one it's gonna be because there's no wind up to throw. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Good work. Okay, we're running short on time. Let's just do a boxing. Let's just do boxing since that's all we worked on anyway, is hands. If you don't have a mouthpiece though, I'm gonna give you a different drill. So if you don't have a mouthpiece, take your gloves off. I'm gonna give you a sparring drill that is one of my favorites for developing really good footwork. All right, these are gonna be 1-minute rounds so we can train with a bunch of each other, bunch of everybody. Okay, so just boxing, just hands. By boxing, you can still do spinny stuff, I don't care, but just boxing, just punches. All right, guys. And you can be whichever lead you want, so you can try either out. Switch partners. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna just start. Outside. Good work. All right, here we go. Good work. And normally sparring starts on the bell, but I'm a fan of if you touch gloves, then you can start sparring whenever. So once you touch gloves, you can start sparring. Good. Oh, sorry, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. We'll be learning that trick next week. Time, good work. All right, Garrett, you and I. Nice. Nice work. Time. Awesome, guys. So that was day 1. I feel like there was something else I was gonna say, but highlights for you today, Garrett. Yeah, you liked it? It built up all right. Chan, what were the highlights for you, sir?
Go.
Yeah. Heck yeah. How about yourself, Patrick?
Just trying to be forced to be in a different stance.
Yeah. Which when you're sparring, if you spar me, you're welcome to go orthodox. If you're like, let me see what this looks like done in person, you know. Or you can go orthodox. During sparring, I don't care what you do. So you can go orthodox to see if you can apply some of it. So you don't have to stay southpaw for the sparring. I'll leave that one up to you. When you spar me, I recommend just go your preferred lead, and then that way I can show you what it looks like in action. Cool, what about you, Eric? Yeah, you like that? Yeah. Yeah, it's got a very different feel. It looks almost the same as a jab, but very different feel. What about you, Pablo? You like that feel? Yeah, yeah. Jeffrey?
Yeah, I like that one.
That uppercut. Yeah. Aiden?
Feeling like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, yep. That's my favorite part of it all. You know. Timothy?
Both of the punches being from the same chamber.
Yeah.
Set up like.
Heck yeah. Well, that's awesome, guys. Well, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Next week we're going to look at how to defend kicks, because that's one of the biggest reasons why people get nervous about this longer stance, is that how do you deal with kicks, because it's really hard to shin block from that position. So we're going to play with different ways to deal with kicks. And then the following week, we're going to play with different ways to take advantage of your hands being down. So that's the other thing. People go, well, having my hands down, I'm going to eat a lot of shots. I'm going to show you some tricks so that it could actually be an advantage that you have. So that's the next 3 weeks. Awesome, guys.